until Anna said, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Yeah, some of these videos I'm sure maybe have a crossover to what we've been talking about for the last month.
In disability, there are certain frameworks that keep us poor and dependent upon the health care that we get and the, in my case, $900 a month average. And it just, it's barely enough to put a fair
Yeah, one of the
third
dark.
in rent. Sorry.
No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
when I had my child by myself, I asked the government. Not, I didn't have her. I was taking care of you, smart little. When I was taking care of my child by myself, um,
Well,
the
we should
best
get
thing.
screenshots of this space
Yeah,
sometimes.
he is. He is listen too closely. When I was, he does. He catches stuff. This is like what? Um, the only thing I asked the government for ever was not child care, was health benefits for my daughter, not me. I'm taking this. I'm taking the leap that if something happened to me, oh well, but at least my child would be taken care of. They literally looked at me making a um, little above wages then, and said, "You make too much money." I'm like, "What do you mean I make too much money?" Like, yeah, you make too much money. I said, "Well, how much money do I have to help to get child care and health insurance for my child?" It got to be a little lower, like 200 or blah, blah. I said, so in other words, so if I was unemployed, I could get it. The lady looked me straight in the face and went, pretty much, yeah. I was like,
Really wanna really
wow.
wanna look behind the curtain? I mean, it all blends in together. One, you have the sexism of it. Since you're a male, there's not a lot of support systems that are out there for you.
Well,
What you'll hear though, if you say this in the wrong circles, is there'll be a social worker in the crowd and they'll pop their head up and they'll say that men are eligible for everything that women are. Use a lie. Maybe that's written somewhere. But are you telling me all the men? When you roll by the homeless encampments, that's all ego while they out there? That's why that is? Oh, okay. Reason why when you look at the hiring classes is it's overwhelmingly female. That's just you guys not wanting to go to work. See, that's that piece. Then you get into the ableist argument, right? Because there's a problem with your limb, you can't get a job doing something that really requires nothing but your brain and your mouth. Because you have a problem with your leg, you can't get a job that will let you sit down and use your arms. Because if if we did do that, we'd have to actually do some form of accommodation. Now, the law says we have to do accommodations, but I can avoid having to do accommodations if I just hire somebody who doesn't need accommodations, right? And then if you are in a serious health situation, especially a chronic health situation, there's going to be more time you need off work. There's going to be more expensive health care. Like you're going to be a bigger draw on the group health plan. You're going to maybe have an incident at work occasionally, right? All these things come in, so now you become less hireable. Because once I hire you, I can't fire you because there's too many things that get in the way of me being able to fire you. You can start hiding behind things. You could legitimately not be working good, or you could be working as your best, and it's still not what we need, and I can't get rid of you. So it's better to just not let you in the door. So you got ableism that's sitting out there doing that. You got the classic racism that sits out there. Please don't be a black or Hispanic male, that, especially a black male, because we can't pass for nothing else, right? You a black male. Ain't nobody confusing you for Javier. They're just not. Okay, even if you are Latino, you're gonna be mixed with me. Okay, but if you're a passing Latino, then maybe you can play a different angle of the game. But now you're forced to deny who you are in order to exist in an environment. So that's a level of abuse. When you really get to looking at this stuff, man, it gets so horrible. But at the base of it, and this will be my one rant for the night, folks. At the base of it, it is at the base of it. It's the commodity. It's the commoditization of your life. If you cannot generate financial value into the system, then you cannot appreciate and value to said system. Therefore, you are a liability, and liabilities have to be managed out so that assets can appreciate up. And that's how it shakes out all the way around the board. We turn your race into a commodity factor, and we decide how much of a liability your race is, how much of a liability your gender is, how much of a liability your abilities, your physical or mental abilities are. We put all that into the machine. The machine kicks out what level of value you can push back into the system, and if that value is too low, we'll just whatever happens to you happens. Let God sort it out, and they move on. And rant over.
For anybody right now who's new to the show, who's been watching the show for a long time or new to the show, you notice what Thea said that he's not going to talk longer and he's going to keep his stuff closed and everything else. You notice that I didn't say a word because then it would be Thea's. And I know Thea's can't help it. It has to come out. It has to come out. It's like he's sitting there saying, I'm not going to be black anymore. Sure, you're not. Yeah, I'll go that far. I went that far with it. Yeah, I went that far with it. I went that far. I'm not taking nothing back. I went that far with it. You are who you are. If you are who you are, you're going to be who you're going to be. And that's why I love you. So stop changing. Or stop sitting in the dark and thinking of stuff and trying to change your personality or whatever it was that you.
My heater's on. My heater's on. I don't know how to turn it off because I'm in a hotel.
I can't control those things even if I did. Two stories
Yes,
of
I
one.
get it, and I appreciate it, but I appreciate hearing when you go off about something you do know about. It's
Yeah.
illuminating.
Well, I said,
I,
why would I'm just gonna not say much. I'm just gonna what?
It's called growth, Marlon,
yes,
because I've
you
received
can.
feedback and I try to take feedback. And while I struggle with it sometimes, I am always trying to get it. And when people that I care for and I care about have a common concern, which is that sometimes I make them feel as though they are not able to be in a conversation with me. And that's not, I'm not talking about nobody on this panel, I'm talking about in my personal life.
Oh,
I have to learn that and adjust to it. So that's where some of this comes from.
and this is what I say. You adjust to it. To them. On this show, you be you. So you have to adjust now. To them, you give them 3 sentences. For this show, you be Thea's. Hey, I'm sorry that some people can't take but 3, 4 sentences at a time. Nothing wrong with it. I get it. You know, whatever. But for this show, you be you. Because I was listening, you literally said nobody on this panel said anything. That's just the people on the outside. So you handle those people on the outside. You give them a nice little short, 3-word sentence, break them down. You know, they may be the people that you have to text, like sentence, text, so they can read at their own speed. But for this show, I don't want any changes. I just don't.
I'm gonna be right back. I have got to get this heat turned off. I'm just
All right, well, I'm just gonna head to the next video so you can just listen in. So the next video is 2-in-1. He's not gonna turn that heat off. Trust me. I've been in so many hotels. If you turn it down, you freeze. If you turn it up, you burn it up. So whatever. This is 2 stories in one, so kind of try to pay attention because it flip flops, but the stories is the same. The guy just rambles so much, and again, this is what I warn you: don't look at the video, just listen.
My dad just died about a month ago. My company gave me 4 days unpaid off. I was really close to my father, so this was hard for me to deal with. My paycheck was enough to pay bills, but I had to buy my groceries on credit card to get by. My boss's brother-in-law died the following week. All he talks about is how hard this is on his wife. Between the stress of her brother dying and the reno on their $1 million cabin, he's taking his whole family to Hawaii for 10 days this month to try and deal with their grief. Meanwhile, I'm pricing urns out on Amazon to try to save money, trying to sell my dad's tools to help my mom, working full-time and taking care of a toddler. It didn't happen to me personally, but I've got an extremely similar story. I used to work with an extremely competent and really nice supervisor, we'll call her Sally, who didn't show up for work one day. Our boss Matt, who was also the owner, wanted to terminate Sally immediately until it came out that her husband died in a really violent freak accident. Cooler heads prevail. Matt backs off as I tell him that I can cover for Sally for as long as she needs. About 2 weeks pass, and in spite of Sally checking in every so often and being in the bereavement guidelines, Matt starts interrogating people, asking when Sally's returning, complaining that her coming in to collect a paycheck, side story, Matt didn't believe in direct deposit, was really unprofessional given how long she'd been gone. He even starts quietly asking people how it would look if he went ahead and replaced Sally. Long story short, Sally ended up returning immediately after the funeral was concluded. In my opinion, Matt indirectly pressured her to return. 3 months later, Matt's dog died. Don't get me wrong, he was a gentle, adorable English bulldog that Matt would bring every so often, but he was also old and extremely sick, and Matt had about 6 months warning that his dog would pass away. Matt was utterly devastated, like ashes and sackcloth forlorn. Not only does he completely fall off the radar for a month, but he only resurfaced to have a meeting where he explains that he was headed to Hawaii to recenter, and I crap you not, looks Sally dead in the eyes and tells her that she should understand. I'm sorry.
Tracy?
This is the first time I talked.
Yep.
I didn't say anything last segment, and I really wanted to jump in there, but I'll let that segment go. Is this idiot out of his dang gone ever-loving mind? If compassion was a person, he would not be it. Sir, her husband or father or person died, and you tell me your dog, yes, I get it, some people, they love their animals, blah, 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 blah. But you go, no, I want to say something so bad. No, no. A month? A month. Somebody should have been pressuring you to come back to work. A month. What's wrong with people?
So here's my deal. This is my definition of out of touch. I know there are people who love their pets just like, if not more than people. Been growing up with people a long time, I can understand. But don't ever look at a widow that you pretty much harass the whole time to come back to work. She finally comes back to work right after the funeral. Your dog died, and your statement is, I get to fly to Hawaii to center myself. Widow, you should understand.
And keep working.
Because my question to you was, when did she get to take time to center without being harassed by you, without the fear of losing her job? Since you know you was asking around the office, would it look bad? You knew it was gonna look bad. You wouldn't have asked. People who really out of it would not have asked. But then again, maybe I'm thinking more nicely than I should be. You probably was asking more on the favor of, would this look illegal? Would this get me in trouble more than would it look bad if I did it? But I'm giving you the benefit of a doubt.
He's the kind of person you hope something bad happens to him. You be like, okay, let's just wait. Yeah, I know I shouldn't say that, but he's just ready for the pickings. Like, you don't want anything bad to happen to people, but something did happen to you. You be like, oh well. Remember when you did? Dude, you looked her in the face and said you should understand. No, she shouldn't. She lost a husband. You lost a dog. I know you loved your dog, but they're not the same. They're not the same.
Anna?
And I have made everybody mad.
All right.
You touch everybody differently, and
Yep. Hey, I had an employer tell me to snap out of it that my mother died. I was like, what? What you said? What?
Yeah. Snap out of it. Get
Snap out of
over it.
it.
Get
It's
over it.
it's been
It's
20
been
years.
long enough.
Yeah, it's been 20 years. Guess what? I still ain't over it. How about that?
I told you what my mom said about that the code. It comes into this too. Especially the ones who try to my such and such died, and it didn't take me long to get over it. It's the equivalent of, wow, it's really cold out here. It ain't cold. This ain't cold. This ain't really cold. You know what? You not feeling cold doesn't make me warmer. So you getting over the death of somebody ain't gonna all of a sudden make me get over the death of who I'm with. That ain't how this works. You may have a different experience than I have. You may not even really care about the person that died. How I know?
People say some of the dumbest things. Like, shut up. If you can't say nothing, just don't say anything. Just keep your mouth shut and keep those stupid thoughts in your head. Don't say them.
You got anything, Theus? You
You're
muted.
mute.
Boop. Hold on. I gotta do something real quick. Okay. First of all, dude's an asshole. He has no emotional IQ. Okay. But he's that type of person. And so he's one of those people that if it's not him, he can't relate to it. And then when it is him, he expects everybody to be able to relate to it. So that's the type of person you're dealing with. And then he's a leader, he's an owner, boss, whatever he is. He's at whatever level where he can dictate his schedule. So he gets certain perks with his position. Now, I'm not going to tell him not to use his perks. Use your perks. You're in that role. But the problem is how you then turn around and look at other people and judge them who don't even have your perks, right? And then about the dog thing. Okay, I love dogs. I love my dog like he was my own kid, but it wasn't my kid. It was my dog. Okay, so there is a distinction, but it's above just a pet, right? So I can see how devastating it can be. Whether it was you knew it was coming or if it happened suddenly, that's still a personality. Because each pet has a personality. That personality is gone, right? So the problem here isn't that he was devastated by losing his dog. The problem here was that he was devastated by losing his dog, but it didn't click to him that the devastation this woman must be feeling for losing her husband must be even greater. And I need to relate to that and show her my empathy and appreciation whichever way I can, even if it's just verbal. And that's all I had.
Are you writing this stuff down now?
I had a 2-minute timer. I did good. I did that at like a minute 40.
You know what? I don't even care no more. Do you, dude? I don't even care no more. I just don't even care no more.
You're not supportive on my road of recovery.
No, I'm not. Oh my God. Feeding the
Awesome, Jim.
homeless.
Awesome.